This podcast is sponsored by nobody. Hey dudes, welcome to Splat from the Past, the only 80s themed horror sci-fi show where things can get totally radical. Now, I am so excited because today I will be welcoming back Dr. Kristen Hillaire and Patti Quatro, and we are going to talk more about their awesome, and I do mean fucking awesome podcast, Rock and Roll Survivors. And we're going to go into some stories that Patti has told in recent months that I just absolutely laughed my ass off at. There's some funny stories on that podcast where they're talking about, Patti and the pleasure seekers, and then in the earlier episodes, Fanny. There's some funny stuff in those episodes, and we're going to talk about that. Maybe get into some holiday stuff and just have a funny conversation. I love Kristen. I love Patti. I loved having them both on separately, and now we're all going to be on Zoom, audio only, and I am so friggin' excited. This is a great way to kick off Christmas December with returning guests and 2 in 1 episode. That is just extraordinary and fabulous, and I am so excited for this. So yeah, here is my new interview with Dr. Kristen Hillaire and Patti Quatro, the Rock and Roll Survivors podcast. Hey, Kristen and Patti, welcome back. How are you two lovely ladies today?
Doing good.
Hey, Tommy.
Yes, did you two have a nice, happy Thanksgiving?
I had a wonderful one with one of my daughters that lives here and her kid and husband. So yeah, it was wonderful.
Love it.
It was wonderful for me as well. It was relaxing. I hung out at home. I had the fireplace going. I lit candles. I ate all day long. It was exactly the Thanksgiving I needed. It was perfect.
You got stuffed. You got stuffed.
Yeah,
I did indeed.
Yeah, I got stuffed and listened to my family argue. The usual.
Oh, God.
I hope you could laugh at it and not get irritated by it.
At this point, no, I cannot get irritated by it.
Well, good. Good. Take it on stride. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes, I've been looking forward to this for months, so thank you both for coming back, and this time all three of us together. And yes, I got your name right, Kristen.
Thank you. I have so little to hold on to, Tommy, so I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. So let's get into the Rock and Roll Survivors podcast. I'm just loving each episode I hear. Kristen, your childlike exuberance of romanticizing that era, and Patti's humble and honest accounts punctuated by a body crescendo occasionally is just what I look forward to every Friday night. So do you two talk beforehand about what topics and stories are going to be for each episode?
We have to sort of have an idea because my archives are so voluminous. I mean, that's the only way, we have to say, okay, this is what happened in this year or this. So we sort of go, a little bit I mean, Kristen, you can explain, but most of the time it's pretty spontaneous. She has a tendency to draw me out no matter what.
It is spontaneous, but there's also, Patti and I are very intentional with each episode. And we are following a chronology, and we've started in 1964. We're at the end of 1968, and we still have 1969 ahead of us. And as Patti said, her archives are voluminous, and they toured so often. We're talking about the Pleasure Seekers, one of the first rock and roll female bands. They toured all over the States and internationally in Canada, and then eventually over to, Patti, where was it, Guam?
Guam and over the Far East, yeah.
So they were all over the place, and so her diaries read like from the whole year they were touring, and they continue to do this. So we have to be careful with not just reading an itinerary, also having these amazing stories. And Patti's amazing historic third eye, because not only was she there, but she was observing the larger rock and roll scene. It was nascent at the time, and she was taking it all in and really understanding, to use Patty's words, and I don't want to speak for you, Patty, but it was a musical renaissance, let alone coming from Detroit and her legacy with her family. So, and Patty's wonderful sense of humor. And so the spontaneity is there, but we're also very intentional.
Yeah, and I'll say that I mean, being probably the straightest musician you'd ever meet in your life, that's what I attribute to my third eye. I do look at things very historically and what was happening. We had the
Mm,
sex, drugs, and rock and roll, but for me, it was more the sex and the rock and roll, and I steered away from the drugs. So that gives me a very clear-eyed third eye when I'm explaining things and going through what we all experienced as women and musicians.
yeah, are there any
Mm-hmm.
stories that you want to tell, but like, do you like check in with the other band members and see if they don't mind you telling the stories?
They don't mind at all. We've told a lot of them, and we are. My girls, all the girls that played with our band were so truthful and so with it and so on the mission of females playing and having their shot that they are completely truthful always. I haven't had one person say anything, against what we tell, because it's all what happened. It's factual. It's no revisionist
Hmm.
stories at all. So I'm real proud of that, what Kristen and I put out there. It's all truthful.
It
That's
is all truthful. And I just want to piggyback off of that, Patty, because it's true that anytime we quote somebody or read from something, or it's the bandmates, we check in with them prior. So that,
Yeah.
as Patty said, this is not a gossipy podcast. This is factual. And I always try to have Patty's perspective steer the episode, because she was the one that was there, and she can say allegedly or from my memory, or again, we check in with as many people as possible. Patty's sister Suzi Quatro, is so prolific in her own writing that
mhm.
there's plenty of her autobiographies are out there, her poetry. So Patty and I usually, when we bring Suzi up, it's much more back in the day when she was in Pleasure Seekers and soon Cradle. We don't really talk about anything contemporary going on, at least for now.
Of
And
course.
that's always her books that she's already written really confirm everything we've said that would involve her, because she's told some of the same stories in her books and stuff. So it's interesting how similar they are, that we have the same memories.
Yeah, I watched the documentary about Susie recently. I love how you and the other sisters just completely threw her under the bus in that last half. Talking about how her moving to England affected you girls and everything. But it just like it completely changed the tone of the documentary, and I thought it was awesome.
Well, that was, yeah. You know what? Susie and I'll say one thing about that.
Hmm.
Her movie, it's like we're oil and water. We have, different perceptions and different things, as we all do psychologically.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Susie grew up the, little Susie sausage, and she was going to make her way, and she lived like that. And look what it did. It made her like an icon. Okay. She was
Hmm.
very determined. By the same token, that perspective colors some of what we think about certain issues that came up. So we're always, we argue all the time about it. We laugh about it and we argue about it. But, she wanted us to like worship her. I want you to be my fans. And Nancy and I were always telling her, we're not your fans, we're your sisters.
Yeah.
So I mean, we laugh about it, but it's always that psyche that she had, and that's what was in her movie. That was the only part I didn't like, because she had the editor rights and she put it out the way she perceived it. And perception is everything. That what you perceive doesn't make it true.
Right.
So that's all I have to say about that. It's
Right.
interesting.
I know. I mean, I'm a Gemini. My birthday's a couple days after hers. I know that my family, is the exact same way. I'm very committed to my podcast. And
Well,
they and also my friends have an attitude of like, we're your friends and family. We're not your fans. I'm like, yeah, but can I just get some feedback here, please? You know what I mean? Like I totally
Yeah,
get it. You know,
yeah.
us Geminis, we're very complicated people, very complicated. But I've
Hey,
heard.
I'm a Libra, and I just have to say,
Mhm.
I want that kind of feedback too. So I don't know if that's a Gemini thing, but also I don't really want the negative feedback. So when I say we love your feedback, of
Yeah.
course that means your wonderful feedback, not the complaints.
When I found out, Kristen, that you were a Libra, I was like, no wonder we get along because Geminis and Libras get along so fucking well.
Absolutely, we do. My favorite stepfather, and yes, I've had a few. Jimmy Gitter was a Gemini, and he is was one of the kindest, most talented, and creative people I've ever met. And Tommy, I can so see that in you.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. But
I'll add, I'll add something to that about the signs. I'm
mm,
a Pisces. I'm a triple Pisces.
mm,
And our joke in the family is, I mean, Susie's like diarrhea mouth, just,
yeah,
she wants to be right. And I am quieter and I will think about something and then I'll say my opinion. So we're as different as night and day, and
yeah.
of course, water. Yeah.
Both my parents are Pisces, and it's a water sign. So like they used to joke, yeah, together we made urine.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but
That's great.
Too
yeah.
much.
But I've heard some stories from you, Patty, that are just podcasting gold that I'd like to bring up. Let's start with the Compact Queen.
Oh my God. Oh
Pat,
my
did I call that one? I knew.
You
See,
did.
Tommy,
Yep.
You did.
Tommy, that's how well I know you. I said I know he's going to bring up the Compact Queen.
Yeah.
So
Oh my God. Well, she was a groupie, and she was in the back room. We didn't hang out in the back room unless we were playing because Susie and I were working the bar and the coats unless we were playing on stage. But we knew all the shit that went on
Hmm.
because all those guys were our best friends. They were the guys we were doing the circuit with all through Michigan. So yeah, she existed, and that's what she did, and it was hilarious.
well, we're being a little cryptic here, Tommy. Should I explain
Of course.
what
Go
what
go right ahead.
Go ahead, Kristen.
and I will link the episode because I think it's hilarious. So Patty and the band, the Pleasure Seekers, Susie was 14, Patty was 16 years old. They worked at this teen club as co-check girls, and then they dared the owner of the club to put their band on. So that's how they started playing there because they blew everybody away. So in the back room where the musicians hung out, it was a tiny little club. It was
Mhm.
mostly male musicians. Female rockers were so new then. And so there were a lot of female groupies. And one of the famous ones, we call her the Compact Queen. Every Friday night, which was the hideout night, she would bring a new compact and give a BJ, for lack of a better way of putting it, to one of her crushes, collect it in the compact, and keep it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's worse. It's more than that. What I didn't put in the story in the episode, so you got a new thing here, Tommy.
Uh-huh.
She blew somebody on stage while they were playing and did the same thing. Yes, she did it on stage.
What?
Time it was in the back room into her compact.
First of
Oh,
all, Patty, I can't believe, bro, lucky you, Tommy. That's awesome. But also, I now have a question, Patty, because this was a
Okay.
teen club. So how was that even?
I don't know. She snuck up there, and I don't know. But one of the band members told me later that yeah, she did it on stage once. So don't
Oh,
ask
that,
how she accomplished it. She did.
wow. I
my
just want to know how she explained the collection of compacts to her parents in the bedroom.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good one. Would she put them on the wall like a art thing
Exactly. And why would she need a new one every Friday? Like,
in a shoe box? I mean, who knows what she did? Oh my
did
God.
that story make the newspapers? Because that is like a scoop right there.
No, it didn't. No, it was not talked about. It was just one of the backstage things. And it wasn't even every band. It was the ones that she was turned on to or whatever. But she was there all the time, doing her thing.
And
Wow.
Scott Richardson, who's a big rock and roll Detroiter, a friend of Patty's, a new friend of mine, he was
Yeah.
in the band SRC and Scott Richardson Case. He remembers her because he played at the Hideout, but he never interacted with her. Although
Oh my God. He had a little more class. My Renaissance man, him and I were very tight, very
yes,
tight as band leaders. Yeah.
God, I
Oh
know.
God.
I heard a story years ago. There was a guy, he used to chew a lot of tobacco and spit it into a jar, and he had like hundreds of jars of tobacco and spit in his closet. And I don't understand what drives these people to do stuff like that. I really don't.
Oh, no.
I don't either with that. But I mean, this Compact Queen, that to me, I kind of, I don't know, I'm fascinated by her entire story.
I
So,
love the name. I love the name. It couldn't be better. Compact Queen. God.
I
That
know.
was a new, and that was early, Tommy. That's early on. Your free love era came in and everything. And the Hideout, I mean, it was teenagers, just doing their Friday night. But that was early for that kind of groupie stuff, I think. 60,
definitely. 64, 65, yeah.
And then it got very big with the actual groupies that got well known and everything. So she was an early one, definitely.
She's a pioneer, just like Patty and the Pleasure Seekers.
Yes.
Dear, dear. Oh my
And then
God.
and then there's the guy who was sexually relieving himself in New York.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Our introduction to New York. He big guy, real tall and big, and he just had his penis out and he was walking down Broadway, wanking off. And here comes Susie with her little guitar case and me next to her, and her eyes must have gone 5 times the size. I mean, she couldn't believe it. That was our first experience into New York. Nobody was even paying attention. Just walked along like nothing was going on. Typical New York.
My God, did he actually have it out?
Yes, yes, he had
Wow.
it out in full view. I think he was drunk or stoned, he's just walking along, sort of stumbling along, and that's what happened.
One time,
It's funny to think that if he was, I'm sorry, Tommy, hold it.
good.
If he was drunk or stoned, that he has no idea that you have this whole memory of him.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Susie, my God, she was what, 14 or 15,
Yeah.
when there first. I mean, that's pretty young to be exposed. We had a lot of penis stories. Oh my God,
Yeah.
they always happened to us. Always. That's
What
the women's point of view and what we had to go through. A little different than the males.
And
what
Tommy, I cut you off. I apologize. What were you going to say?
It's okay. One time, me and my friend had to hitch a ride with a tow truck driver, and where he's driving us, and we see a woman walking, and there's a guy following her about, I don't know, 10 paces back with his penis out, and
Huh?
the tow truck driver said, "Hey, buddy, you sure you know what you're doing with that thing?" And then the lady looked back. She took 10 paces back and knocked that guy out. And we were just
Oh
like
my God.
cheering her on. I mean, we were like, yeah. And then we just drove right off.
Oh my
Good for
God.
her.
Oh
Yeah,
my God, that's so funny. Oh,
yeah, true
typical.
story. It happened 10 years ago. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe that guys like that are still doing that in this era. It was crazy. Um,
Wow. I don't think it's ever stopped. It probably never will.
yeah, sadly. Um, Susie peed in a Coke bottle.
Oh. She was a loner to a certain point. Then she got very thick with Arlene as time went on. But in the beginning, she sort of found her place in the trailer, a bunch of blankets, and she would lay down back there because the car was crowded, and she would have to pee. So she always had a Coke bottle with her, and she would pee into it if we weren't stopping or something, and she couldn't wait. And Arlene would go to get her keys set up. And why is everything so sticky? What's going on? And, Susie would never own it, of course. But I mean, that's what happened. Susie would miss the bottle and the keys would get full of pee. Crazy.
Just to clarify for those who may not know the Quattro family as well as I do, Arlene is also a Quattro. She's your other sister. So there's Nancy, Susie, and Arlene, and your brother Mickey or Michael.
Right, right.
Yeah.
That was a fun. So, well, but she was riding in the trailer often when she just wanted to have some time alone. So that's what happened for Arlene.
Yeah, my mom's Italian. She taught my brother's ex-girlfriend how to pee in a plastic cup because someone was using the bathroom. And, we only had one bathroom in those days, So Italian women always have an alternate pee plan, always.
Oh God. That's funny. Oh my God.
Very funny. I like that.
And
Well, my dad was Italian. He must know these stories.
oh yeah. And keeping with the Italian theme, you girls had an encounter with Jilly Rizzo and Frank Sinatra.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That was fun. The Jilly was a mafia guy, straight up,
Yep.
and he was very friendly with Frank. And they were doing the movie Lady in Cement with Raquel Welch. She was real short, beautiful girl. And he was with Mia Farrow. So they were all down there, and we would have dinner with them. They would film in the daytime, and then we played at night. So they put us in the film, and then our manager had a little fit about it because he realized it was going to be a mafia type bar, and he was very careful about our reputation. So he didn't like that. So he had them. Our drums are in the movie. You could see the drums, but they didn't use the footage of us playing, which really, it bugged us. But he had the firm say of keeping our reputation okay. And the other guy, Richard Conti, who was a older actor, he put the make on Susie at the dinner. He had his arm around her and everything. She was trying to move away. And that's the picture we showed in the episode. Kristen, you know which episode it was. It was the whole Julie's thing. We played there 2 weeks, and then we were held over. It was a real hot spot in Miami.
Yeah, I was going to say this was in Miami.
Yes.
Yeah. And you girls got to be extras in the detective, right? Or was
no, we just played in the band in the film, but then they edited us playing the actual instruments because our manager did not want us in a mafia type bar in a movie. We could have killed him, but that's what he decided, and he said nope.
Okay, because I've seen that movie so many times, but I'm like, God, where are they at?
Yeah, no, unfortunately, we didn't get to be in it. Bummer.
Well, look for the drum set with Pleasure Seekers on it.
Okay.
I don't even know what angle it's at in the movie. It could be sideways, it could be front, whatever. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's what happened. But it was a good time. We had great dinners with all of them, and Frank was really great, and so was Mia and Raquel. All of them. Very friendly to us. They loved the band. They would pop in at night and see us sometimes. It was cool. Cool gig.
I remember Jilly was on a Dean Martin roast for Frank, and he was so funny with that thick Italian New York accent. He says, first time Frank came into my joint, he was really high class. We called his group of boys the A group. They were the kind of guys that wash their hands before they eat.
Oh my God, Jilly was a hoot. He really was real mafia.
Yeah.
His bar was well known, and it was a mafia bar. It was always connected with the mafia. We all know that. His reputation. They helped make him famous. Putting the money with him and pushing him with the booking people and everything. He owed it all to the mafia, really.
Yeah. Yeah, then he had a tragic car accident at 75. That was just awful.
Oh, I didn't know that. He was killed?
Yeah, he was in a road accident when he was 75 years old. It's like, God, to be that old and his days are already ending and it goes like that. I mean, I know what it's like to be in a car accident. I was, 31 at the time, but just to be 75 and having that happen to you when your days are already going to end soon, it's just like, that is tragic.
I didn't even know that. Wow, that's something new to me. Wow.
Yeah. Well, I'm
Interesting.
a walking encyclopedia of information.
Well,
Clearly.
he never. Julie never, as the owner of the bar, he never got disrespectful, let me say, in any way, because we were a
Hmm.
bunch of, girls and everything. He treated us pretty damn respectfully the whole time, which, a
Yeah.
mafia guy, it was nice, no weirdness going on, except for Richard Conti trying to put the make on Susie. That
Oh
was the only one.
God, God, Richard Conti of all people. God.
God, he was what, 20 years older than her, 30 years older?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Tommy, did you see that picture I posted? We actually have it. We captured that moment. So I'll share it again with you.
Yeah, no, I don't think I looked at it. If I did, I don't remember, but I'd like to see it now.
Yeah, we're all,
Oh,
it's
yeah, it's
Frank.
pretty clear.
Oh yeah, and he's sitting on the end and has his arm around Susie, and she's sort of, okay.
Yeah.
You you can you can sense her being uncomfortable, and she's right on the end with him. It's funny.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And now you girls also knew Paul Revere and the Raiders. I actually interviewed Jim Valley earlier this year. You know, he replaced one of the other guitarists when they were like halfway through their success years and stuff. I'm a huge fan of Paul Revere and the Raiders. Like, you got any good anecdotes about them?
Oh, I wish I had anecdotes. They came to hear us 3 times. One time they were
Hmm.
playing in town or something, and they were invited to the Rooster Tail to the downstairs part, which was the more the dinner club, and they just came upstairs, wanted to be where the hip stuff was, and I have so many pictures. Kristen, you have those. The
I do.
pictures of
I've
us,
shared.
because we would come down and blab with them in between our sets, and then they would come up to see us. So they came to see us like 3 times, and they were really nice guys. I
Hmm.
really enjoyed them. Great guys, yeah. No anecdotes though. It was just, gabbing and hanging out and stuff like that. Because we were playing gigs. We were on the gig. So,
And just to clarify, the Rooster Tail where Paul Revere and the Raiders came to see the Pleasure Seekers, that's here in Detroit. And the club is still here. It's very famous.
Hmm.
yes,
Yeah.
very famous. Susie had to wear a blonde wig once to play there and fake her age.
Oh,
Been
that's
there many
awesome.
times.
That's awesome. Now, I was curious, Patty, did you girls do any hitchhiking in those days?
Hitchhiking. You mean like on the road?
Yeah.
No. No,
Okay.
why? No, no. You know what? Once we became teenagers, 14 and 16, we were on the road all the time. We were in a car and a trailer and going to gigs. We were the earliest band out of Detroit because everybody wanted the novelty girl band, So all our homeboys that we played with and did the whole Michigan circuit, we were out early. And that's what happened. No, we didn't hitchhike. We were on our way to gigs. Never had to do that.
Okay, because
Nope.
it seems like in those days hitchhiking was like a norm for a lot of people, whereas now, it's not. I mean, you could get killed if you do it these days, but back then
Oh,
anything went.
yes, yes. No, we were too busy with our band stuff to, hitch like normal teenagers might have done. And you're right, it was very accepted back then. You just hitch a ride and get around. We didn't do that. No, we were too busy on our career.
One of my favorite songs is Vanity Fair's "Hitching a Ride," and I can't imagine anybody covering that song nowadays because hitchhiking would be completely alien to any like young millennial kid because nobody does it anymore.
Oh God, it'd be dangerous now. Yeah, you wouldn't do it. I'm
Yeah,
sure there's people that do, but it's a different world, you
Well,
know.
we also have Uber now, so no need to, if you don't have your own set of wheels,
Right, right,
a
true.
little safer.
No,
absolutely.
I was always a designated driver because I
Hmm.
was the straight one. So if we went out or partying or anything, I was the driver. So,
And also a reminder that Patty's family is from Motown, the Motor City, and
Right.
Patty's father worked in the car industry. So vehicles were always accessible to them, including the Pleasure Seekers hot pink van that
Hmm.
they got to tour in. So hitchhiking wouldn't be conducive to getting to these gigs.
that's
Wow.
true. We were so middle class, but We always had our cars. My dad always made sure because he got discount and everything. So we always had a ride. It wasn't a problem. And even Nan Ball in the beginning, her dad worked for Ford. So we always had cars. We didn't have to hitchhike.
Did your dad live long enough to see the Roger and Me documentary that Michael Moore made?
I don't know. I don't. He died in, trying to think, in the 90s.
He
I don't think he would have seen it probably.
well, he probably
He would have
lived it, because of how fucked up
lived
the
it.
industry got in Detroit.
It did get fucked up, and by then, his older age, he was playing nursing homes, still doing music because he loved making people happy. So they moved to Texas in his older age, and he played at all these nursing homes. My dad, I mean, at old age,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
he'd carry stuff, and he would be playing for the patients, and they just loved it. It put a smile on their face. I still have tapes of him doing that. I couldn't believe he did that at his age. It was unbelievable. He was a great guy and very giving.
Oh yeah. I mean,
And so,
if you're that passionate about it, you'll do it for two people somewhere.
That's exactly who he was. In fact, Susie got she always calls herself an entertainer, not a musician, because she got Dad's
Mm.
entertainer DNA. He did the same thing. They would both open a fridge and the light go on and they take a bow, and they drew people to them. And she got that from Dad. And that's how he was. He drew people around him all the time. They just came around the piano and wanted to hear everything he was doing. So
That's so
that's,
wonderful.
yeah, yeah.
So
So
I love the fact that the shows are getting a little bit longer, 40, 43 minutes. I think that's just so wonderful. I think I told you this, Kristen, that the show sounds like one long conversation, and it never sounds like a new episode. It sounds like a conversation that's just continuing. You know, it sounds like you've become conscious of that because it's not like you say every episode, and welcome back to Rock and Roll Survivors. It just sounds like the conversation keeps going.
I don't think I've ever said welcome to the Rock and Roll Survivors podcast. That was always my goal from the get-go, is that I
Hmm.
wanted it to feel like it was 1973,
Yeah.
Patty coming out from Detroit to LA, joining the band Fanny. And the idea is that we would sit around and gab and talk about rock and roll and what she experienced. So I never wanted it to be formal. So if you'll notice, I mean, not that anybody would, but I don't even say my name on the podcast.
Right.
We just jump right in, and I say, and we are picking up a conversation. We know where we're going in terms of all the episodes. It's not necessarily that they've been, scripted or outlined yet, but we definitely have a huge arc that we're going toward. So the idea is that we just continue this conversation as if you're hanging out with us and getting to hear an insider's perspective of early rock and roll, but from a female. It's so cool.
If you go,
You know,
go ahead. Sorry, Patty.
no, go ahead, Tommy. I'll add to that, but say what you were going to say first.
Oh, if you watch or listen to the early episodes of this podcast, I say my name in like maybe the first couple episodes, and then I start forgetting, and then I thought, oh, they know who I am. My channel is Tommy Kovac.
Yeah. Well, I'll say something about what Kristen does. She is a master historian. She holds my feet to the fire at every episode. And you know what? Ours is meant to be in the light, warts and all, no revisionist stuff.
Right.
It is a conversation. We just continue on with what really happened from our point of view. And it's always the truth, whether it's good, bad, or whatever. And that's what I love about what we're doing. It stays in the light as far as honoring our journey as women pioneers doing this. It's so damn important because you don't hear that. A lot of podcasts you hear, it's somebody that doesn't really know the people interviewing them. I've known Kristen since she was 6 years old.
Right.
She lived it with me and Fanny, and she knows everything. And she grew up in a showbiz family. So the chemistry is off the charts. And that's what I love about what we're doing.
Thank you for that. I want to add one thing, if I may. First of all, Patty has completely spoiled me as a interviewer because she's a perfect interviewee. I just, and the chemistry I love, but I also want to add that Yes, it's called the Rock and Roll Survivors Podcast because that was the original idea. But Tommy, as you know, we don't really do a podcast. What we're doing,
Hmm.
I think one of our wonderful fans and now new friend, Tom Couch, said it's like an audio documentary. It's like listening to a new chapter every week. I'm
Oh yeah.
listening to a book. And I think that that's more of what Patty and I are trying to do to tell her story. It can't be these little quick quips and sound bites to make it catchy and clickbait. This story is really important, and we focus on pillars again, the car industry, her homeboys. I mean, all the guys coming out of Detroit are incredible, and who she played with, and the mad respect they have for her and her sisters and the family. So there's a larger tale here. So it's not this kind of headphones and mic the way a lot of podcasts are. Tommy, I think yours is very different and unique as well.
Oh, thank you. It was always my goal from the beginning to do something unique and different. And now that the podcast world has gotten bigger and so many podcasts are out there, there's like millions of them and stuff. I'm glad at least I could stand out so uniquely with mine. And it's gotten to the point now where people have stopped asking me, how come you don't do a Zoom show? How come you don't do it like this or that? Now it's all set in stone, and like everyone, I think, accepts and likes what I do. So that feels good.
It's wonderful. It's how it
It
should
is
be.
wonderful. It's exactly how it should be.
Hmm.
And that's why I love what Kristen does. She has set so many arcs and pillars that widen the whole scope of the podcast, and that's what I think makes ours stand out the way we do it, because we touch on so many areas, not just, oh well, this happened here and this happened. There's a story behind all of it, whether it's sad or hilarious or drama. There's always something that pertains to a wider arc as well of the era, of the people involved. So that's what we're going for, and it's working. We're not going to change our viewpoint. That's what we want to produce.
I think one of my
Hmm.
favorite episodes that we've done, although I love every single one of them,
Me
was
too.
exactly what you just, thank you, what you just said, Patty, is I can't remember which number it was, which episode, but it was called Detroit is Burning. And it was
Yeah.
the
Hmm.
1967 riots or uprisings that happened in Detroit. And Patty's family is from a suburb of Detroit. And it was intense, it was historical, but we didn't want to focus on it from a larger lens initially. We wanted Patty's story within the idea of what did she experience playing during these riots? What was her family going through? And so again, it tells this larger narrative of what was going on in the US at the time, in rock and roll at the time. I mean, during the Detroit riots, she and the Pleasure Seekers and Chuck Berry, was it, Patty, all played a gig together that night.
Oh my God. Yes. And my dad nearly punched him out. Oh my God.
Oh
And he
wow.
wasn't even playing with himself. What's that song that he does?
Oh,
Ding-a-ling, my ding-a-ling.
my
He wasn't
dingling.
even playing jingling. He was laying on top of our rhythm player, Eileen. And my dad walked in because they had come on the trip because they were getting out of Detroit also. The riots were going toward our home. So we locked the doors and we all left to go to the gig. And Chuck backstage at the gig, he was laying on Eileen, and my dad walked in and said, "Oh my God, get off her!" And he nearly punched his lights out. I swear to God. And Susie met him years later. She said, "Do you remember that?" And he said, "Oh my God." He never forgot it. The night he almost got beat up by the Quatro father.
That's
Funny.
great. That's great. Now, when we were talking about doing this back in June, wasn't the Fanny Rock and Roll Survivors album getting re-released?
Oh,
It was in the works at the time, and it's out now. Patty, do you want to tell everybody about it? It's fantastic. And well, let me just preface with Patty and I on the first season of the Rock and Roll Survivors podcast. The first season was all things Fanny when Patty joined, and it was the fifth Fanny album, which is called Rock and Roll Survivors. And when we were doing this episode, Patty wanted to make, I mean, these episodes, Patty had the rock opera tapes. And so we world premiered them on these two episodes. And then Cherry Red Records got involved. And so, Patty, take it over. Tell us everything.
Well, it's out right now. The amazing thing is we had David Bowie was involved with us at that time. He helped design the costumes for it, and it's called Rock and Roll Survivors Opera.
Mm.
So it's a dual CD. It's out on Cherry Red. The first part is the 1974 album that we did on Casablanca. The Kisses Up, Kiss were in the label, and
Yeah.
us and Donna Summer, a lot of people.
Angel.
And yeah, and our first single was actually doing better than the Kiss one because they almost dropped them. Neil Bogart, it was hilarious. Ours took off. Anyway, we remastered that album, which had 10 songs. And then I had, if you can believe this, a tape, cassette
Mhm.
tape of a venue gig. And it had the whole opera on it. And my sound guy was able to take it and, get out the most noise he could get out and whatever. And that is the second CD, and it's the whole damn opera. And
Wow.
Roger Daltrey heard it and called and wrote me because we're still in touch. I used to date him, and he said I'd like to do a endorsement on it. So he wrote an endorsement on the rock opera and the album, and so did David Bowie. So I mean, two wonderful endorsements. And then there was a UK. He's very famous in UK, a big audio guy, and he wrote me and he said, "Oh my God, this is brilliant! I've never heard anything like it. It's fabulous." So we got some great endorsements, and it's out right now and selling, and you can get it.
Love
And
it.
I just want to clarify with everything that's going on with tariffs and all of that. Please order it from Cherry Red Records
Yeah,
because that is the remix, the re-release that has never been heard before. People can get it on Amazon, but it's an old version and there's a song missing on it. And
yeah.
Patti worked on the liner notes for this re-release, so it's straight from her historic third eye. It's fantastic. I'm just so pleased with it. It's definitely a full circle moment for me.
Love
It
it.
was very different, Tommy, because the first band want to overprotect those 4 years of their journey, making 4 albums, and they weren't able to break through. And then two of them, Nikki and Jean, decided to keep playing as we went to Casablanca. So
Right.
it was a whole different new band. Two of the members had quit. So it was quite a thing that we were able to put this out again for the public so that they would have the full legacy, including this opera that had never been released before. That's the cool thing about this release now. So you can get it on Cherry Red. They took a shot and they're loving it. So
Oh, I'm gonna definitely get one because I love that album. I still think it's the best album that Fanny ever did. It's just a catchy album. I just friggin' love it.
thank you. That's so sweet. Thank you. Thank you.
I
Thank you.
agree. I agree. I love it so much. And to hear it through Patty's ears, if you will, 52 plus years later for me,
Mhm.
because I was there during the recording of that album. I loved this incarnation. Neil Bogart thought they were going to make it. My dad, their manager, Roy Silver, thought they were going to make it. And then, unfortunately, two of the band members ended up quitting, Nikki and Jean. And so it just didn't work. But I always say the timing for this album, because I agree with you, Tommy, how catchy it was and just wonderful,
Mhm.
that the world was ready for a female rock and roll band at that point,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and a gorgeous one
Yeah.
at that. So I think it's
Hmm.
unfortunate that two of the band members left and that it just couldn't be put back together again.
Yeah.
I,
It
I
was unfortunate. The timing was bad.
I thank God for my dad getting me Rolling Stones Rock and Roll Encyclopedia because that's how I found out about Fanny when I was 11. And thank God for YouTube too when they came around and I started hearing the songs and stuff, because my dad was always taking me to buy CDs and stuff, and there were no Fanny CDs at the places that we went and stuff. So I had to discover the music on YouTube, years later when I was in my 20s, and I just love Fanny. They're just such a great group, and that album is just fantastic. That's all I could say. It's just a fantastic album.
Oh, thank you so much. We have a channel.
Hmm.
It's called Fanny Official, and that has the last lineup that I was in on Casablanca. It's all those songs are in there, and I'm going to be adding the opera too. But they're all there on YouTube now. Thank God, finally. So it'll be the whole legacy will be available to anyone that wants to listen.
Well, I just
Mhm.
want to add something funny as a historian here, Tommy, that you were introduced to Fanny through Rolling Stone, you said, a collection that they put together.
No, the Rolling Stones Rock and Roll Encyclopedia book. I learned about so many of my favorite bands I already knew about, and bands like Fanny that I had never heard of up to that point, and that's how I got introduced to Fanny.
Okay, got it. I thought you said that Rolling Stone, the magazine, because my dad tried so hard to get Fanny into that magazine, and they were known at the time to be quite a sexist magazine, which did prove to be true decades later.
Yep.
But it was Patty's sister Susie who was on the cover, and I believe that was a first, wasn't it, Patty?
It was the first. She was on the cover of Rolling Stone. Absolutely.
Yep.
Wonderful.
So Christmas is coming. I'm curious to know if you two have any Christmas memories you'd like to share.
Patty, you go first.
Oh, I knew you would do that. My God. Oh my God. Um, oh, I guess the best ones were when we could all be together. It was so hard to get the girls together after we started pursuing our solo careers,
Mhm.
right? You know, Susie was in England by then, and I was in LA and whatever. And when we could get together, it was, I'll tell you one of the favorite memories. We would get around the piano with my dad,
Mhm.
okay? And we had a favorite song. It was Sweet Judy Blue Eyes, right?
Mhm.
And I've talked before about the Quattro harmony. I mean, this is decades later, and we could still go around that piano. And Nancy, me, and Susie, we would just instantly sing that song with my dad and be on all our parts. We never forgot them. And it just sounded fantastic because we knew the whole song. One of our favorites. We laugh about it to this day. I
Mhm.
don't know why, but I remember that. We would do that at Christmas time. We just have people over and do some music in the living room with his organ. He always had an organ at home. This was in Grosse Pointe still, in Detroit, Grosse Pointe, where we lived. So when we could get together, that's one of the wonderful memories.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's
was.
cute.
What about you, Kristen?
Well, it's funny that you should talk about sitting around the piano and singing because my mother and Tommy, I believe you know who my mom was, Catherine Reynolds. She was
Yep.
on Soap. She was in the movie How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying,
Yep.
and every TV show on during the 70s. But she was also trained operatically, and she went to Bennington and she played classical piano. And she and I would sit around the piano and sing our Christmas carols. But of course, we had to do them in Latin or German or the original language it was written in because my mother insisted upon that.
Mhm.
And I just loved it. I loved her cooking. I loved being with her. It was magical. And so I love, Patty, that you and I share sitting
Yeah.
around a piano, standing around a piano, singing at Christmas time. It's exactly how it should be. What
Yeah.
about you, Tommy?
It's funny. I was thinking about that not too long ago. When I was 11, I wanted a bicycle because I was going to be going to a middle school that was not too far from the house. And I woke up and I went into the living room, and there was this big cherry red bicycle there for me. And it's funny, we realized, I'm such a big boy, even back then I was a big boy, that I couldn't ride it. I wasn't coordinated to ride it. I couldn't even do it now. I got metal in my leg from my car crash and stuff. So we ended up giving it to my uncle. He was a bicycle rider. He was a drunk. He liked riding his bicycle to the bar
Oh,
and then riding it back home because then he wouldn't get a DUI. you know
oh God.
but that was a memory, just my eyes lighting up when I saw that bicycle, even though I ended up not riding it. And I was telling my mom in the kitchen on Thanksgiving, my favorite Thanksgiving memory. When I was 3, my grandfather had passed away, and so that Thanksgiving was like the first one I can actually remember because we were all trying to adjust to, his death and everything. And I can
Oh,
remember my first tastes of turkey and cranberry and actually remember how good they tasted. And that weekend, my parents took me to see Star Trek 4 at the drive-in. And Cary Grant, my first man crush, died that same day. I can remember that too.
oh my
Wow.
God. Wow. Oh my God. I have two more too. I just
Okay,
realized.
okay.
My brother, keyboard genius. Every Christmas he would sit down and play, you know the movie Dr. Zhivago?
Oh, yes.
And he would play that song, and we would be in tears by the end of it. He would do the tinkling, the snow, the icicles, he put the whole thing into the song. And then after that, he would play Court of the Crimson King, his version. And I'll be pretty blasphemous here. His version was way better than King Crimson. And they wrote the damn tune. But Mickey did a version that was just unbelievable. In fact, it was pretty well known through the United States. People would play it on the radio and stuff. And Ted Nugent did the intro to it on guitar. And it's a fabulous version. It always makes me think of Christmas, those two songs, Court of the Crimson King and him doing Dr. Zhivago, which was my mother's favorite. So
Love it. And did you said you had another one?
oh, that was it. That
Oh.
was it.
Oh,
I
okay.
remember he did that song at one of Susie's parties at Christmas in England, and he had a bunch of metalheads there. Susie's kids, you know, they were into the metal, and they were in tears by the end of his playing. That's how good he is. I mean, he would put you in tears. So that stuff makes me think of Christmas.
Well, and it's interesting, Patty, because so your brother Michael, who's a phenom, we know that. We've interviewed him. He was on our podcast a lot, and now he lives still in Grosse Pointe. He lives near me. I'm in Detroit now. And he and I only recently figured out that his album cover of In Collaboration with the Gods, with him shirtless sitting in a pool, that's my dad's pool.
Yes.
And that's the house where Patty lived when she came out from Detroit to join Fanny. And we had such an incredible connection. So I remember when Michael showed me that image of the album cover, I gasped and I said, "That's my pool." So
weird. Wow.
Weird.
Patty, what are your memories of little Kristen?
Oh my God, she would come into they put me when I joined Fanny.
Yeah.
I came out and they had like a garage apartment with a little kitchenette and a loft bed and all that. So that's where he put me. He had to put me somewhere, and that was so sweet of him to open up his home when I joined the band. Kristen would come in, and oh my God, we would do dance party. We would make chocolate chip cookies. We would tell scary stories. We got along just unbelievably. And she loved the band. She was so into it. So she was in my apartment all the time. And Kristen definitely remembers some stuff too.
Well, and also logistically, it was a very large house, and my parents, or at that time it was my dad and Jean Millington, their bedroom was all the way across the other end of the house. And the apartment that Patty stayed in was connected to my bedroom. You'd go outside my bedroom not outside, leave my bedroom, go into this laundry area that was enclosed, and then go to Patty's door. So Patty, you were young. I mean, you were what, 19, 20, 21? You were young. And so I feel like
73. I don't know how old I was.
I think you were about 20. Even if you were, to me, you were still young. And Patty was the one who was the first person ever, and to this day, I think of you every time I see anything about an urban legend or any of those stories, and you would hold the what is it? A flashlight under your chin to make yourself look really scary, and you would sit in.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we had a blast. And it was
the other thing I remember, and it's so funny living in Detroit now because it is another memory for me where Patty were so connected, because Patty would make, and it was the first time I had ever tried this, Patty would make fried bologna.
Oh, fried bologna. Yep.
It was so good. And I just fell in love with it. My dad was a gourmet chef. He owned a restaurant at one point. And I would say to him, "Oh, make the fried bologna." He would say, That's so Detroit. That's so Detroit.
Oh my God, my mother's favorite. Yeah, she would make it bubble up in the pan with butter, and then you'd eat it with mustard. Oh my God, it was so good.
Yeah, because Kristen, I can imagine you being like 6 years old and seeing Patty for the first time and going like, "Oh my God, she is so cool. I want to be just like her."
Oh, absolutely. But also I had already been around, and my dad started managing Fanny when I was 3. So I was there for the first 4 albums as well. And so I already thought the ladies were cool, let alone when Patti came in. I remember so well I can still feel them with my fingers. Trying on your platform boots, Patti, that you had,
Yeah.
zippering them up and trying on your feather boas and all your outfits. Oh, I just was in heaven. I loved it so much. And Tommy, I don't know if it's not utterly obvious, but it was I was supposed to be, in my mind, the fifth Fanny member by the time Patti came to join. That's
Yeah.
why you see me on the drum kit. I was ready to go. I was very serious about this. So.
That was great. Her dad, he was such a genius with the PR, and he made my Detroit Edge coming in was like, this is Varushka, that model, that really tall, skinny model that was coming to join the band and bring the Detroit Edge, and that's what she was exposed to. I mean, with all my Detroit antics and everything, because I was pretty ballsy and, put myself out there. I was no shy person,
Yeah.
So, and Kristen we just bonded. She was having a ball.
Well, and it's funny, Patti, that you say that about Verushka, because I just happened to have saw a picture of her. She was a model.
Yeah.
And she was not one of the better known ones, but my God, was she gorgeous. And my dad obviously picked Verushka because she had legs as long as your legs.
Yeah, she was known for that. Really tall girl. Yeah.
Yeah. And same with Patti's legs.
So to wrap this up, it's funny. Earlier today, I was talking to an actress who had parents that were Holocaust survivors, and I was trying so hard not to laugh when she brought up Gestapo because I was thinking of you, Patti.
Oh my God. My God, my nickname.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
We see, and that's another thing where, as a historian, we can't omit that nickname because she was called that, and it was in print. That was a nickname she was given. And you're right that it's horrible for her parents, and we're actually living in a horrible time right now where it's a mirror of that, maybe potentially. But Patti, in terms of why she was called it, she was Gestapo. And just to kind of clear the air here, I am Gestapo like Junior. So we're the Gestapo girls. So
we are. Oh my God, what a nickname. I know today's era, you wouldn't even want to admit to that, but no, we do it, warts and all, whatever it is. And that's what my nickname was in those days. Nothing to do with Hitler and anything, just the way I was so orderly and running the band leader mentality, it was like a police, so it fit at that era.
Yeah. So the show's coming back in January. You two are on holiday hiatus and stuff. I mean, you want to give little hints of what we can look forward to in the future?
Oh my God, Kristen, go. Oh my God.
Sure. Well, we left off with a bit of a cliffhanger where the band isn't sure if they're going to continue doing a certain type of music or get more into heavy rock and roll. This is 1968. But we're about to have some huge band shakeup changes, lineup again changes. Yeah. But the band itself is going to be booked all year long in 1969. I mean, we're going from January 69 all the way to the end. And then the end of the season will come when the Pleasure Seekers morph into the band Cradle. And we will pick up season 4 with all things the band Cradle.
Love it.
I don't know, Patti, do you want to add?
I will tell you my one line. Pleasure Seekers was my heart. That's the inception point. Cradle was my soul. Those songs, I cannot wait to be able to expose that music again, what we were doing in that band. It was unreal. The genre we touched and what we brought out in the original songs. We were so ahead of our time. We were doing the makeup before Kiss. I mean, it was unreal.
Yeah.
So it's going to be exciting when we get to season 4.
And also continuing with season 3, just to say one more thing on it. Thank you, Tommy, on this, is that we are now getting to a more prolific period of music that the Pleasure Seekers wrote and original music. So these are no longer covers or kind of a pop, turntable hit, as it was called back then. And so Patti's insights and musical analysis are just pure magical rock and roll. So there's so much more to come, Tommy, and we're just so grateful for you and your time and for listening
Yeah.
and your support and your amazing work. So it's a love fest all around.
Yes,
Yes.
I love you both so much. Thank you so much for coming back on, and I'm really looking forward to the next batch of episodes when the new year starts. And I hope you both have a happy holiday season and be safe. And I'll talk to you both soon.
We love you.
Love you.
Merry
Have a
Christmas.
wonderful, yes, have a wonderful holiday.
You too.
Talk soon.
Mwah. Talk soon.
Mwah.
Mwah.
Well, there you have it. Dr. Kristen Hillaire and Patti Quatro, aren't they sweethearts? I just frickin' love them. And I'm so glad that we could finally do this. After months and months of planning, we finally made it happen. That was a lot of fun. And go check out the Rock and Roll Nightmares. The Rock and Roll Survivors. Sorry, that's Stacy's podcast, The Rock and Roll Nightmares. Well, we love Stacy too, so that's all good. The Rock and Roll Survivors podcast. It's available on Spotify, and it's highly recommended by me. Well, until next time, this is Tommy Throwback Kovac saying there's no shame in living in the past because the present sucks. Later, dudes!